Let's get right into it. Number 7. The air at gas stations. Imagine reaching for a napkin at a restaurant, and then a third-party vendor pops out to charge you $2 to use it. That is exactly what happened when gas stations decided to privatize the literal air we breathe. Back in the day, air hoses were just a standard, free courtesy to get you to pull into the lot. But by the 1990s, self-serve stations got sick of fixing busted hoses. Enter third-party vending companies. They approached gas station owners with a sweetheart deal they would install, maintain, and repair the air compressors for free, as long as they got to split the coin revenue. It was a genius revenue-sharing model that turned a maintenance liability into passive income. Fast forward to today, and tap-to-pay air machines have quietly morphed into a $500 million profit engine. But here's the crazy part. If you live in states like California or Connecticut, the law actually mandates that air must be free if you buy fuel. So how are they legally charging you? By relying on the fact that you have no idea the law exists. If you buy gas, you are perfectly entitled to walk inside and ask the cashier to press a secret override button hidden behind the register. But since 90% of us don't know about the magic button, we just sigh and tap our cards, literally paying $2 for the exact same air that is floating all around us. Number 6. Pizza delivery fees. This is basically buying a $20 concert ticket and getting hit with a $15 convenience fee at checkout, but for your Friday night pizza. For decades, free delivery was the absolute backbone of the pizza industry. You ordered the food, paid for the food, and handed the driver a few bucks for bringing it to your door. But in the early 2000s, major chains faced spiking gas prices and rising liability insurance from drivers crashing their cars. Instead of just raising the price of a pepperoni pie, they quietly tacked on a $1 delivery fee. The problem? Customers naturally assumed this was a built-in tip. Drivers watched their income completely plummet and ended up slapping the major chains with massive class action lawsuits, claiming the fee was deceptive. But the courts ruled that the corporations legally own that money. To avoid more lawsuits, the companies were just forced to print a microscopic warning on the side of the box, saying, "Any delivery charge is not a tip paid to your driver." Fast forward to today, and that fee has exploded to $4, sometimes $6 an order, and absolutely 0% of it goes to the guy standing on your porch. The corporation successfully offloaded their operating costs onto you and made the delivery driver pay the price. Number 5. Plastic grocery bags. So why don't we just ban single-use plastic bags to save the oceans? Well, we tried because instead of actually fixing the environment, we accidentally handed supermarkets a massive government-mandated payday. For decades, grocery stores handed out billions of those flimsy plastic bags for free. It was just a regular cost of doing business, but it was quietly eating away at their profit margins. Then, in 2014, California passed a piece of legislation that became the blueprint for the rest of the country. It banned the ultra-thin bags and forced stores to offer thicker, reusable plastic bags for a mandatory minimum fee of 10 cents. When you get hit with that charge at checkout, you probably assume it is a government tax going toward cleaning up a beach somewhere. But if you read the actual text of the law, the state does not collect a single penny. The legislation explicitly states that the money must be retained by the grocery store to cover the costs of the new bags. The kicker is, those thicker bags only cost the store about 2 to 3 cents wholesale. That means grocery chains were just handed a legally mandated 7-cent profit on every single bag they sell. And if a cashier tries to give you one for free, the store gets fined. It is exactly like the government forcing you to buy a $10 case for your phone and then letting Apple keep the $10. And the darkest irony of all? According to reports, plastic waste by weight actually increased in some areas because people just treat the thicker bags as single-use trash anyway. The supermarkets got a permanent financial bailout and the oceans just got thicker plastic. Number 4. Airline checked baggage. Here's the weird part. Checked bags didn't get heavier. Planes didn't suddenly forget how cargo holds work. Yet somehow, you went from checking a suitcase as just part of the ticket to, "That'll be $40, please." This whole thing really took off in 2008, when fuel prices went absolutely feral. Oil spiked to around $147 a barrel. Airlines were hemorrhaging money, and they needed a quick fix that wouldn't scare people off with higher ticket prices. So American Airlines rolls out a new temporary idea, $15 for your first checked bag. And at the time, the pitch basically wrote itself. Look, fuel is insane. We're just trying to survive. This is a crisis measure. Fair enough. Except the crisis ended. Oil prices came back down. The airline industry kept breathing. The bag fee stayed forever. Because the moment they tried it, they discovered the most beautiful business trick on earth: unbundling. They could show you a cheaper base fare on travel sites, win the click, win the booking, and then collect the real money later when you're already trapped in Terminal B holding a suitcase like it's a hostage negotiation. It's like buying a hamburger, and then at checkout they go, "Great choice. The bun is extra, the meat is extra, and if you'd like it cooked, that's a premium option." You're not paying for a better burger. You're paying to complete the burger. Fast forward to now, and that cute little $15 emergency fee has turned into the normal world, with first bag charges hovering around the $35 to $40 range on a lot of airlines. And globally, baggage fees have become a monster revenue stream, tens of billions a year, including about $29 billion in 2022, according to industry reporting. And the side effects are everywhere. People pack like they're training for a survival show. Everyone tries to cram a week's worth of life into a carry-on. Overhead bins turn into a Hunger Games arena. Boarding groups become psychological warfare. The funniest part? One airline still proves it was never necessary. Southwest built an entire brand on Bags Fly Free, which is basically them standing in the corner like, "So, you guys just kept the temporary crisis fee because it prints money, huh?" Punchline: that oil crisis ended over a decade ago, but the airlines are still charging you for it like the emergency never stopped, and your suitcase is the one paying interest. Number 3. ATM surcharges. Everyone thinks ATM fees are just normal, like taxes, like back pain, like that one sock that disappears in the dryer, but they're not some timeless law of nature. In the US, there was a period where slapping a fee on you at the machine was basically a no-go. Back in the early ATM days, banks were desperate to train you to stop bothering human tellers. So the big ATM networks, think Plus on the Visa side, Cirrus on the MasterCard side, had rules that basically said, no, you can't charge people at the terminal. The machines were the bait. Free access was the hook. The goal was adoption at scale. Then the twist. The fee didn't show up because ATMs suddenly became expensive or because cash got harder to fold. According to reports, it showed up because the biggest banks realized they were sitting on a brand new revenue stream, and they wanted the networks to unlock it. So they squeezed hard. The threat was simple: let us charge non-customers or we walk. And on April 1st, 1996, yes, April Fool's Day, because reality has jokes, the networks lifted the ban. Overnight, those little $1.50 surcharge stickers started popping up like they'd always been there. And once the door opened, it didn't just crack, it got kicked off the hinges, because now it wasn't only banks. It created a whole industry of independent ATM operators, meaning any random guy could buy a machine, plant it in a dive bar or a sketchy convenience store, and charge you $5 for the privilege of accessing your own money. Here's the part that feels like a magic trick, except the rabbit is your wallet. You can get double dipped. Your bank hits you with an out-of-network fee, and the machine hits you with a terminal surcharge. 2 separate hands in your pocket for one transaction. The average total hit is around $4.73 per out-of-network withdrawal, and surcharge prices have climbed to record highs north of $4.70 in a lot of places. Mechanically, this is what happens when a central rule change removes consumer protections. The whole market recalibrates to maximum extraction. It's like waking up one day and there's a toll booth at the end of your own driveway. Nice house. Love what you've done with the place. That'll be $5 to leave. Now, to be fair, if you use your own bank's ATM, it's usually still free. And banks will argue the fees are about maintaining machines and securing cash transit. Some people dispute that and say it's mostly profit once the system was normalized. Either way, the outcome is the same. They trained you on free machines, moved you off human tellers, and then started charging you for the privilege of talking to a computer that doesn't even say "have a nice day" like it means it. Number 2, car hardware subscriptions. One day, you climb into your brand new car on a cold morning, you hit the heated seat button, and nothing. Not even a courtesy warm-up, just silence. Then your dashboard basically goes, "Cute, now subscribe." That's what BMW started rolling out in 2022 inches some markets. And the twist isn't that heated seats became some new invention. The heating coils were already physically installed in the seats at the factory, fully wired, fully there. You're literally sitting on the hardware. BMW wasn't charging you to put it in. Reportedly, they were charging you to remove the software lock that stopped it from working. Because car companies saw what software companies have: recurring monthly revenue, Netflix money, but for your butt. So instead of heated seats being a normal feature, you just use, the car nudged you toward an $18 a month subscription. Or you could pay something like $415 for unlimited access, aka the privilege of turning on a feature you already own in every physical way that matters. Mechanically, it's simple and kind of dystopian. It's cheaper for manufacturers to build one uniform car, install the same parts, and then flip features on and off digitally rather than customizing each vehicle. But from the driver's perspective, it feels like buying a house with a toilet and then being told you need to swipe a card to unlock the flush. And the stakes aren't just, wow, that's annoying, it's the precedent. If a company can software lock a heating element in a seat, what else can get turned into a microtransaction? Windows? Headlights? The steering wheel? Like it's a battle pass? The internet, predictably, melted down. People started talking about jailbreaks and hacks to bypass the car's computer. And the backlash got so loud that by 2023, BMW reportedly backed off the heated seat subscription idea. But the punchline is, the concept didn't die. Even if this specific button got freed, plenty of automakers still charge monthly fees for other software features. So yeah, BMW may have dropped the seat heater ransom, but the industry learned the lesson it actually cares about. If you let them put a paywall on your own hardware, they will absolutely try. Number 1. Social media API paywalls. This sounds fake, but it's real. The platforms that begged developers to build their ecosystem for free turned around and asked for cool, now pay us $20 million a year or die. Here's how it worked. Back in the 2000s and 2010s, Twitter and Reddit had a problem. Their official apps were, generously, not great. So they did the smart, open internet thing. They offered free API access, basically a set of doors that lets third-party apps talk to the platform. Think of it like a kitchen pass. The restaurant is still the restaurant, but now other people can build the menus, the waiters, the whole front-of-house experience. And developers did. They built genuinely amazing apps, bots, moderation tools, research tools, stuff that made these platforms usable and helped bring in massive waves of users. It was an unspoken deal. You build on our land, we all win. Twist is, the moment the platform started caring more about ads and control than growth, that deal became a liability. Because third-party apps don't have to show the platform's ads. Which means, in the eyes of the business, those apps weren't innovating, they were stealing revenue. So in 2023, the vibe flipped. Under the guise of protecting data and cracking down on scrapers, the platforms yanked the ladder up behind them. Twitter killed free API access in February 2023, and Reddit announced pricing that wasn't just expensive, it was nuclear. The clearest example is Apollo, one of the most loved Reddit apps. According to reports, Reddit told Apollo's developer, Christian Seelig, that continuing to operate would cost around $20 million per year. They priced API calls at $0.24 per 1,000 requests, and developers got something like 30 days notice to either pay up or shut down. And that's the key detail. The goal didn't feel like make money from developers. The goal felt like set the price so high no developer on earth can survive. It's not a toll. It's a gate. And the gate is on fire. Mechanically, this is classic platform and shitification. Step 1. Be nice to users to grow. Step 2. Squeeze users to please business customers. Step 3. Squeeze everyone else, developers included, so the platform claws all the value back to itself. It's like inviting people to build a city on free land, and once it's a metropolis, showing up with a bill that says, "Congrats, you owe me millions starting next month." And the fallout was immediate. Third-party apps went dark. Bots and tools that people relied on just stopped working. Moderators revolted, there were massive blackouts, whole communities locked down in protest. Not because people love APIs as a concept, but because they could feel what it meant, the end of the open internet and the rise of the locked garden with armed security. Punchline? They used free labor to build a billion-dollar empire and then locked the gates and charged the builders rent. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.